Can Europe speak with one voice on the escalating crisis in Ukraine? As Russian tanks remain stationed on the streets of Crimea, MEPs Charles Tannock from the European Conservative and Reformist groups and Guy Verhofstadt from the Liberals and Democrats give us their opinions. What's the future for Crimea?
What we absolutely need is a bold attitude and a bold reaction by the European Union. And we lack for the moment that courageous reaction of the European Union. Because let's be very clear about it, if we don't have the courage to announce sanctions, including economic sanctions towards Russia, then it's clear that Russia shall simply incorporate the Crimea inside Russia.
Ukraine gets closer to Europe, Russia loses. And so on a pack of lies, basically, he has justified a military invasion of a peaceful sovereign country. It's a very dangerous situation. There's the potential for a real bloody war. And clearly Putin is in no mood for diplomacy. Not from the beginning he wasn't. He has a plan in his head, which is to occupy first Crimea and ideally half of Ukraine.
Can Russia justify its actions by arguing the Kosovo precedent?
It was a different story, because there you got the population who want to create a new state, an independent state. On Crimea, the question is not that. The question is, shall they continue to be part of Ukraine, or shall they be a part in the future of the Russian state, of the Russian Federation? What is a totally different story. In any way, I'm not against the fact that the local population can express himself, can choose, can make a decision about it, but it has to be under what I call normal international democratic standards.
The Russians are contradicting themselves. They only allow self-determination when it suits them. None in Chechnya. Have they ever allowed self-determination in Chechnya? 90-something% Chechens? No. This is a case where they are using this as a pretext which has no foundations in international law, and they are signatories and guarantors of the borders of Ukraine, including Crimea. And don't forget, in 1991 there was a referendum in the whole of Ukraine, and even in Crimea there was a majority to say we want to be independent from Russia, and there were more Russians living there then than there are now.
What sanctions should the EU take?
Two things have to be done. First of all, announce a number of economic sanctions. For example, not longer allowing that dirty money coming from Russia is invested in the city of London, or in German industry, or in the real estate in France or in Italy. That's the first thing to do, including also a visa ban, freezing of assets and so on. And the second thing to do is to develop now, the fastest as possible, a common energy policy.
Well, let's face it, Russia relies entirely on selling its gas to European markets. The pipelines flow in that direction. They rely on $100 billion a year. If that was stopped or reduced, it would be crippling on their economy. Russians have chosen a very bad timing in this respect. The winter months are behind us. The Americans very soon will be exporting shale gas if they wish to. There is spare capacity from Norway, from Qatar, from Algeria. The pipelines can be reversed through Slovakia to western Ukraine. There's a possibility that if we want to have really severe economic sanctions, of course Europe would pay a price. It will be difficult, but it can be done.